Hello, I'm here on behalf of St Andrews. I would just like to ask you a few questions today.
Sure.
My first question is, how do you think that the polar bear's climate change is affecting our planet?
Well, I think that climate change seems to be affecting our planet by heating our atmosphere, making it warmer than it normally would be. This means that the ice sheets in the Arctic are melting faster than before and are not forming properly or getting as big as they once did. This is a big problem for polar bears because they need the sea to hunt for their food. Climate change can also have other effects like making the oceans warmer and our winters not so cold, and then affecting things like how plants grow.
Yeah, true. How do you think that polar bears are coping with the climate change?
The polar bear populations definitely seem to be affected in a negative way. They're finding it harder to find food because there's less ice for them to hunt on and less time for hunting because the ice is melting sooner. Climate change also means that the polar bears may not be able to dig dens for their cubs, which keeps them safe and warm when they're growing up.
And what are your thoughts to help the polar bears in their environment today?
Well, if all the countries of the world made a bigger effort to reduce the impact of climate change and also to protect the polar bears and their environment. In some countries, it's still okay to hunt or shoot polar bears. We need to protect the polar bear population and also the environment that they live in. There are only 19 polar bear populations in the world, so we need to take care of them and make sure that they can breed successfully so that those small 19 populations grow bigger and don't decline.
Do you think if we limit the greenhouse gases and climate change, do you think this will change the polar bear's environment?
At this stage, we don't actually know if climate change is reversible. We hope that it is. So if we could reduce climate change, hopefully the atmosphere might return to normal, or at least might improve slightly, and this might then help the ice to reform in the Arctic again, and will in turn help the survival of the polar bears.
Do you think if we stopped oil spills and illegal hunting in the Arctic, do you think polar bears would react well?
If we stopped hunting and preventing oil spills, this would help the polar bears' populations because they would survive obviously much better without being hunted. Adult polar bears are very important in the population for breeding, and if a large female bear is killed, she might have had the cubs which would then be orphaned, or she might not have had cubs at all. And without their mother to feed and protect them, they would die.
Yeah.
By preventing the oil spills, the environment would be cleaner and their food wouldn't be poisoned with toxic chemicals, and this would make them healthier.
Yeah, and are there any ways to help polar bears today?
Reducing our individual impact on the environment is a good way to start. Things like recycling, reducing energy, and choosing more sustainable products with less packaging are all easy ways to do this. You can also get involved by signing petitions that help the environment, like banning plastic bags, opposing mining in special environments, and even joining conservation groups like the WWF, or supporting research groups such as Polar Bears International with donations.
Do you believe there are any ways our community could help with the polar bear situation?
On a larger scale, if communities aim to reduce their impact on the environment, that would be a great help. But they could also try fundraising and donating money to polar bear conservation. Even just being educated about the problems that face polar bears can make people more aware of the problems and therefore think more carefully how they can be part of the solution.
Yeah, and lastly, do you think that in the future polar bears will still be alive?
Well, I certainly hope so, because they're such amazing and unique animals. I think that if we made a big enough effort to protect the animals and their environment, then we might be able to save them. But if climate change continues to get worse and nothing is done to help the bears, it's quite possible that their populations could drop and they might even become extinct. At the moment, things could go either way, depending on how humans choose to act.
Yeah, thank you so much for your time today.